This season, our weather's been a little finicky, and some might think that they've missed the chance to start their garden. However, with our recent moderate temperatures, it's not too late to get started.
Last few years in June has been very hot and dry. This year is a little on the dry side, but the temperatures are really moderate, so it's great planting weather. Just make sure that you water enough after you plant, because we haven't had much rain, and every time they forecast rain, it sort of goes around us. So make sure you water well. When watering, you want to do a thorough, deep soak instead of little frequent soaks. So less often, but more thorough is much better. So if you're watering plants, you want to water in the morning as opposed to the evening. You want the foliage dry when you go into the evening time, less chance of disease happening.
When gardening, having a lot of space is ideal. However, it is possible to grow in containers if you don't have access to a yard or can't grow outside.
You have to remember that the container mixes, most of them don't have much nutrient in them. So you can do one of two things. I always add 1/3 compost to 2/3 potting mix, which gives you some nutrient in the container. But you have to fertilize more. Plants in a small container, they grow very vigorously, they use up the fertilizer more often, so you need to feed them more often. And that's probably the biggest thing. And the watering, of course, a deep, thorough soak right down to the bottom so the water comes out the bottom of the pot.
Anyone can start a garden, but what are some things that you can do to truly make yours stand out?
Well, you have to decide what thing you're after. Are you after a really outstanding plant? Then look at your light conditions, look at the scale of the area you have, and come out to a garden center and look at what's available and see what catches your eye first, because it has to appeal to you. But if it's different than the surroundings, then it's going to stand out more. It might be a pop of color, it might be an unusual shape, or it could be a piece of sculpture, it could be a statue, it could be a really nice container full of flowers, and it could be just even one type of flower that would be really outstanding in the area.
If it's your first time starting a garden, it can be a little intimidating, but that doesn't mean that it's impossible.
Start small. Start with something that really interests you first. If you're a cook, you may want to start with some herbs. If you like fresh vegetables, start with that. Or if you really like fragrant flowers, try growing one pot of things that are fragrant, that really appeal to you, that you can manage and be successful with. And if you are, then move on to bigger things. If you're starting in a shrub bed, lots of really good basic plants that are good to start with. I'm very happy to see so many young gardeners out at the garden center this year. It's really nice to know that the next generation is interested in gardening. Don't hesitate to ask your grandparents or your parents. There's a wealth of knowledge out there, and if we don't carry it on, some of the good garden tips are going to be lost. But really get your foot in the water and try it, because there's a lot of things that are simple to do and that you'll really enjoy, and then once you get your foot in the water, you can expand from there.
If gardening interests you, there's a wealth of knowledge out there. It's just a matter of getting your hands dirty and getting started. For Shaw TV, I'm Christian LeMay.